What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts, and we are talking about the fight between Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. What a performance for Israel Adesanya. Dominant round one, working beautiful low calf leg kicks. I mean, he cracked that back of that knee and that leg, and this really dominated from early on with that attack, and Paulo Costa didn't really have an answer for it. He really couldn't get inside the range. Beautiful shots being thrown by Israel Adesanya all throughout that first round. He looked absolutely phenomenal on the feet. I mean, this is the best I've ever seen him look, to be 100% honest with you guys. Beautiful head kick landed as well. We're in the second round, and I mean, this is just all Adesanya. Costa had no answer. He didn't really seem to know what to do against Adesanya's style. The kicks were throwing him off. He was hurt. Head kick lands, cuts Paulo Costa open. He's then dropped by a beautiful left hand by Israel Adesanya, put down, ground and pounded. The referee stops the fight, and Israel is still the champion with a dominant beating over his rival Paulo Costa. They have been going at it for a while now. I don't think Paulo Costa has earned any type of rematch or anything like that. He really was dominated here, and it will take a while for him to build back. But for Israel Adesanya, what a performance. And let's talk about what is next. He brought up Jared Cannonier's name, which I think that's something that Jared can probably really appreciate, because I mean, maybe people were overlooking him. I think they definitely were. Robert Whittaker, definitely a possibility, because Robert Whittaker is fighting Jared Cannonier, but I personally don't like the idea of a rematch of Robert Whittaker just yet, even if he does get by Jared Cannonier. So my plan is this: if Jared Cannonier beats Robert Whittaker, you have Israel Adesanya, Cannonier. I think that's a great fight. I think it's an awesome matchup of excellent strikers. Now, let's say that Robert Whittaker wins that fight. Now you got to look down the rankings. And Darren Till, Jack Hermanson. If Jack Hermanson is able to defeat Darren Till, I think Jack Hermanson will get that shot at the belt. But if Darren Till is able to beat Jack Hermanson, I don't know how you really jump Robert Whittaker, and we may be seeing a Whittaker-Adesanya 2 fight happen. So really, there's a few loopholes to get through before we get the matchups that I feel I would like to see before the Robert Whittaker matchup. Number one would be Jared Cannonier. My second option is Jack Hermanson, and third would be Robert Whittaker. I mean, it all depends on who wins the fights. If Robert Whittaker wins but is injured against Jared Cannonier, and Darren Till wins against Jack Hermanson, I guess I'd be okay with seeing Darren Till in that fight. I will be honest, I would be okay with that matchup. I do think Israel Adesanya will have his way with Whittaker again, most likely. Would have his way with Darren Till as well. But the matchups versus Jared Cannonier and Jack Hermanson are very interesting. Jared Cannonier, a very powerful guy. Jack Hermanson, very tricky with his grappling game. And I feel like both those matchups would be very interesting for him. And looking back, I mean, good shots landed. The kicks looked amazing. The striking looked amazing. Israel Adesanya is the best we've ever seen him. But we need to talk about something, and that is the right nipple of Israel Adesanya. Looks a bit like gynecomastia. This is, a thing that could happen if you're taking anabolic steroids. It's a side effect that I guess some people may develop. And looking at his right tit there and his right pec, and then looking at images online of gynecomastia, it looks very similar to that. I mean, I don't know why he'd have issues that would cause gyno without using any performance enhancements. He seems like a very healthy guy, and I don't think he does. Potentially could have been using some type of performance enhancing drug here. Definitely something that affects your estrogen, maybe some type of testosterone, or I don't really know what exactly, but I definitely think it is something, a possibility. I'm not guaranteeing it. Innocent until proven guilty, but it is a little suspect that we're seeing the right nipple being as big as that. But I mean, unless he tests positive, he's a clean athlete in USADA's opinion, and that really is all that matters. And I don't want to say, oh, he used anabolics and beat Paulo Costa. No, his skill set was way too much for Paulo Costa, and he dominated and destroyed Paulo Costa, really, with his skills. And I'm not going to make any excuse for Paulo Costa's defeat. It was an excellent performance by Israel Adesanya, no matter what the nipple gate issue is here. But for Paulo Costa, what's a matchup you guys would like to see for him? If I'm Paulo, I'm going to take some time off. He got beat pretty badly there, and I don't know. I mean, the bicep injury didn't look the same after that. I'll definitely tell you that. I could see potential fights versus him and Maybe the loser of Till Hermanson. That's definitely a possibility. Derek Brunson versus Paulo Costa, I would actually like to see. I think that Paulo Costa has never been tested really besides this fight versus Adesanya, and he was really beat up badly. He beat Uriah Hall, but that's not a huge win. And then he decisions you all. I think maybe the fight versus Derek Brunson and him would be necessary to see just how good he is. Also could maybe see Chris Weidman in there. I don't think that's a good matchup for Weidman at this point of his career, but I mean, maybe he can pull off a win. Maybe maybe Costa doesn't have the grappling skills that we think he has, and Chris Weidman could out wrestle him here. Now, I think Paulo Costa still is a very good contender. I do think he needs 2 or 3 fights. I think that this is a very tough division, but I do think there are guys he can beat here and potentially earn his way back to a title shot, but it's not going to be easy because I'm not rushing to call for a rematch between Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa by any means. That was a dominant, one-sided ass whooping between those two. But all right, guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Also, guys, follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll see you all in the next video.